But I don't know who Pink Floyd is at all. But I don't know who Pink Floyd is at all. But I don't know who Pink Floyd is at all. But I don't know who Pink Floyd is at all. But I don't know who Pink Floyd is at all.
It's your boy Brain.
And I'm Russell.
We're the Fetch 'em Force because we fetch 'em for you.
We kind of count as the dogs. We do what the dog says anyway.
We appreciate you joining us as we continue our crucial work in the capacity of music contingent.
Oh, did we decide on contingent? Good. I thought it was maybe still going to be conference, council,
Today's attack
the
target.
Floyd Council.
Today's attack target. The diverse, distinct, and different faces of one of my favorite old rock groups, Pink Floyd.
Why in the heck am I dressed like this?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, you were on a service call, you just came back from the post office, or you were in a pie eating contest.
Close. I figured that since we were doing Pink Floyd, somebody should draw attention to or represent the late great Syd Barrett. The Pink Floyd sound original leader man, Syd Barrett, man.
That's a little serendipitous that you just came from your monthly dump trucker meet and greet. Didn't have time to change. Pink Floyd, which I'm sure none of you have heard of at all.
Who doesn't love Pink Floyd? Who doesn't love Pink Floyd? Who doesn't love Pink Floyd?
One of the most successful musical acts of all time. We're here to discuss the three distinct eras of Pink Floyd. Now, as a big fan of the group, I happen to have many of these Pink Floyd albums.
Do I own 3 Pink Floyd? Like them? Nice Space Jam, the Looney Tunes, Air Jordan
Which ones do you own?
albums. The, of course, Syd Barrett album, Hyper at the Gates of Dawn, and this being America, the nice pair compilation, Saucer Full of Secrets. The film, Give Me Some More, and Wish You Were Here.
Well, that nicely fills the holes in my collection.
Oh,
So there we go.
so yeah, early days and origins of Pink Floyd. Early to mid 60s British R&B
Yeah.
group,
Right.
kind of the standard R&B type thing. 1965, they were called the Tea Set.
Right. Yeah.
Ended up changing their name at a gig where it was another group called the Tea Set.
Right.
And Syd Barrett came up with the name off the top of his head, I believe, didn't he?
Yeah. Off the top of his head. The Pink Floyd sound, which later was shortened to The Pink Floyd.
Well, it was the 2 blues men, correct?
Yeah,
The
it
2
was
1930s blues guys that
Pink Anderson and Floyd Council.
he ended
Yeah.
up being the leader of the group around 65.
Yes.
Highly recommended that you look up Pink Floyd 1965 on YouTube or something to that effect,
Yes.
because it displays their pre-first album sound when they were still doing just the
The,
R&B with the jangly guitars and the
yeah.
less psychedelic.
And it's awesome because Syd was able to put his own spin on type of an R&B thing. You punch it in on YouTube, Pink Floyd 1965, you'll get right.
March 67, Arnold Lane single. Soon
Yeah.
after, See Emily Play single, right before the first album, which came out when?
Uh,
August 66?
Yeah.
Or 67?
67, yeah.
So yeah, the Summer of Love. We're having our Summer of Love
Yes.
time, London 67.
Mm-hmm. They had that awesome first album after the 2 singles.
Oh, is yours different? Yes.
Mine's
we
a
better
little
show
different.
how mine is green.
Yeah, and yours has a polish and mine's meh.
Or something. Counts as one of the
breakthrough psychedelic albums
That's right.
at the time. Came out just a little bit after Sgt. Pepper's. We're doing the psychedelic creative explosion.
Right.
People like Jimi Hendrix in England at the time.
Yeah.
We can enjoy our brief Syd Barrett era,
Yeah.
where he is kind of a psychedelic rock god.
That's right.
Fair to say.
There's a lot of noodling guitar solos in the album. A lot of whimsical British
Yeah, you get
lyrics.
the British whimsy. Everything is very like Lewis Carroll, very like Alice in Wonderland type.
Yeah.
A lot of whimsy. Keeping it very, very British.
Yes.
At least he wasn't one of those guys that tries to sound American.
Yeah. Thankful for that.
A lot of the surrealism. The crazy guitar solos
Right.
where he
I mean,
noodles on his guitar.
Yeah. And with exception to maybe one or two of the longer songs and the one solo Roger Waters effort, which you should take a listen to. That one's Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk.
Who is he? The bassist?
The bassist, yeah, he's the bassist. We forgot to mention Richard Wright. I think he may be. I don't know if he's even on this album cover or not. He may be right there,
Where?
I think.
This man, the big head.
Yeah. And Nick Mason, the drummer.
Boy, look at him, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Everybody's a kid.
yeah. With exception to Interstellar Overdrive and Take Thy Stethoscope, everything else on this album was a
Oh,
Barrett.
yes, I love that song. Even though it's the Roger Waters one. Take
Yeah.
Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk. Awesome. Rockin' early Pink Floyd song.
There were all the other songs were Barrett efforts, and you could definitely tell. So, we march on from 1967 into the fall and winter, when it was
Yes, what happened then?
when it became quite evident that Sid was becoming a little difficult to work with, kind of.
Let's see. He had been taking a bunch of acid.
Yeah, he became increasingly agitated towards, the music industry and I guess concert goers at large.
Oh, I don't know. It's interesting. You want to find out what was specifically happening emotionally and psychologically for him. He didn't talk about it much, did he?
No,
Like
he really,
what initially led him to
yeah,
kind of become a little disillusioned with it or whatever. He would be on stage and quit strumming the guitar, quit playing, and just stand there.
he'd be on interviews and just sit
Yeah,
there.
a couple famous interviews where he just stared at the person and didn't answer the questions
So,
or something.
as a way to kind of get around the lack of stage presence, they brought in college mate David Gilmour,
Hey!
sexy guitar man.
David Gilmour, man. Yeah.
David Gilmour to play on stage, and Sid would function primarily as songwriting. So,
Yeah, for a brief time, late 67 or something,
yeah,
there were 5 members of the group.
there were 5. Yeah.
And then soon they relegated him to nothing but songwriter.
Yeah, early 68.
The sessions of the second album, correct?
Yeah. So, that was early 68 was when they did that. And here's our...
And that did not really work out, did
No.
it? He just kind of sat there for most of the sessions and was not doing much
Yeah. So,
in the studio.
basically, he just... Yeah, he sang one song.
Oh, yes. What were the 2 tracks that did not make it onto the album
yes.
that you can find on YouTube?
Vegetable Man and Have You Got It Yet is the name of the second one, where he basically trolls the group by changing.
Openly expressing his chagrin with the situation at the time.
Yeah. So,
He's talking about how people think he fried his brain
mhm.
or whatever, and then the other one, yeah, he's just messing with them on what's it called? A complicated song structure.
Yes. And Jug Band Blues is also a pretty good
Oh,
reflection.
yes, at least there's one Barrett song on the album.
So, and
That, again, it's just talking about what? Him not being in the group.
yeah. Thus ends our Barrett era, really. Saucer Full of Secrets functions as kind of a transitional album into more of a democratic group without Sid Barrett. There's a few other good cuts on here. A Saucer Full of Secrets is one of my favorites. Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, another good one. And Corporal Clegg, the highly disrespectful military
Oh, the
song.
anti-war thing? Yes, it's another of the rare actual rocking Pink Floyd songs.
So, yes.
Pretty awesome track. I like that one that the keyboardist wrote.
Oh yeah.
Remember a Day.
Yeah, that was pretty good too. And this is our, of course, quite lame representation of the actual album art. But because they didn't, sell them individually here in America for quite some time, this is the way you had to get it. So there you go. Our transition into 1969, I think, when the soundtrack to the movie More came out.
Oh, yeah, I was kind of dozing off.
Yeah.
Gee. Yes, Moors.
So,
Again, has a couple of cool songs
yeah.
that I like, some that actually kick ass. Ibiza Bar is a neat one. Let's leave it on here. What was the other really awesome
The Nile song?
rockin'? Yes, yeah, that's right.
The two rockers on the album are... Because, I
Which
mean...
have film soundtrack, boring instrumental
Yeah.
numbers. Cymbeline, I like that track.
Cymbaline's good. Yeah. But, I mean... Otherwise, you get kind of trippy. You get some good drumming.
A couple atmospheres.
Yeah.
And they did two things in 1969.
They
didn't
did. There was
What was
one...
the other?
It's a shame we don't have our giant LP of Umaguma. Is the other one that came out later in '69?
You gonna use the American pronunciation?
Yeah, you can.
Umaguma.
Yeah, you are.
Umaguma, the album
But
title.
it was it came as two LPs.
My Humors
Yeah. there was
down on Yuma, Arizona.
there was
Yes, let's see. It is notable in that it is a double album that's one live and one studio. I've never heard it.
yeah, the studio album, they changed up how they wrote it and how they made it. It's a little less democratic, where each person has a section of the album that is theirs, but they were free to incorporate other band members into writing it. My favorites were, Grantchester Meadows, and the song that David Gilmour wrote. The Narrow Way, all parts 1 through 3 are awesome. And
Hoppin' Fine.
so, and the live album, I mean, it's good too.
From a concert or it's not? Is it one of those live in the studio?
No, it was actually live. They just felt the need to throw a canned audience sound.
They added additional crowd noises.
I guess the audience that was there wasn't loud enough for them. But so we march on to 1970 with Moo Cow. Adam Hart Mother,
Cow Conference.
which is
Or Cow Farm.
that's how you definitely want to sell an album right there. Putting a cow's butt towards the potential customer. But you also have 3 cows on the back and a rather nice shot of a cow field in the center. So, there you go. This one's notable for having the first album side track. It counts as a suite. It's like 25 minutes long.
Yeah, the whole side-long, 20-minute long
And
song thing, yeah.
It's got some orchestral bits. It's got some choir bits. Some,
Yes, actually, of going into the whole slow, long thing, and the long instrumental sequences, that I guess does kind of count as my favorite. The Adam Hart Mother song. I like those, what's it called? Choir vocals.
yeah, they're pretty good. And side 2 is where they really slow it down, especially from Omaguma. Like, Omaguma is kind of like this trippy, like, at least it has a little bit of energy. It's kind of trippy. But this, like, You play this in an old folks home and they're gonna probably go to sleep. Except for Alan's psychedelic
Play
breakfast.
this anywhere, they're gonna go to sleep.
But,
Oh, yes, we need to point out, baby Alan Watts, what's his name? Parsons.
Parsons, yeah. They spelled his name wrong down here though. That's
We're
pretty
using
cool.
Alan Parsons at least.
Yeah, so this was probably one of the first albums he mastered, and he did a good job. I mean, come on, it's Alan Parsons. But,
Well, does it count as phase 2? I think we're still kind of in,
yeah,
well,
we're,
we shouldn't call it phase 1. It's like a 1A and 1B type thing.
yeah, because they're starting to, like, I guess,
It's not quite the Syd Barrett influence anymore
no,
of just following the
yeah,
pattern of actually being Pink Floyd, but yeah, we're kind of moving into the slow, mellow, smooth, mellow high.
yeah.
Are we getting baked, man? Or are we vegging out?
It's starting to kick in.
Gotta buy a couple
pretty much.
black light posters or something.
Yeah, it's starting to kick in.
Better slow it down, fellas.
Right around
Because that's
this
the
time.
thing. You listen to the first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and the singles, the Pink Floyd singles. That's what'd we say? Arnold Lane,
Arnold Lane.
Candy in a Currant Bun.
Yeah, Paint Box.
No, See Emily Play and Apples and Oranges.
Yeah,
Vitality.
yeah.
It's crazy Syd Barrett's crazy doing his crazy stuff.
Right.
And the jangly and the noodling solos
Mm-hmm.
were all over the place. It's frenetic, but at least it's the energy. At least it's high energy stuff.
Yeah.
That is my complaint with everything else Pink Floyd did, pretty much. Man, so slow. But yeah, moving right along.
Yeah.
The ear thing.
We're smoothly grooving to this album called Metal.
Big ear to let you know it's
My copy's
what
kind
you
of faded.
use.
But yeah, so metal, dude. This album is so metal.
Give you an idea for what to do.
And we get a nice group shot in here. So Raj, I think that's,
Oh, the tank tops? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of iconic.
there's your boy Nick and, David Gilmour and Rich over there. But
Another sidelong track, Echoes.
Echoes is on side 2.
That is, I guess, memorable.
It's got a kick-ass guitar riff that David Gilmour did. Probably one of the best, if you ask me.
yes, okay. Well,
Yeah.
as long as it's got a couple bright spots on the
Yeah.
album, because I
You-
do not remember that at all.
Side 1, the first song on side 1 is called One of These Days. It's good if you're just waking up at like 5 in the morning. You gotta get amped up a little bit. So you're going along and you're
Sun coming up over the pasture.
you're like, man, this guitar rhythm actually kind of kicks ass. And then, like halfway through the song, you're like, yeah. And then they kind of tone it down for
Okay.
the
Time to go
next
back to sleep now.
So yeah, I mean, there's our review of the album. Kicks ass in certain spots. So,
Now, was this another one that involved Alan Parsons?
I don't think so.
I guess.
Seamus?
It's a song about a dog that walked in the studio. Now I know none of you at all, have seen this one. Let me tell you. I think this one's Wizard of Oz, the Dank.
Rainbow, other side of the rainbow.
Yeah, like with
Dank.
Are you supposed to, like, when do you drop the needle? Is it after the production company logos? Or is it when, like, Dorothy comes over the hill or something?
Cowardly Lion.
No. Because I totally been messing that up this entire time.
I did own that album
Oh, you did?
and gave it away. Yeah, it was one of the ones in the box of albums that my parents still had at the house and claimed it was not theirs, that a friend gave them. So yeah, as a 15-year-old first having records, I listened to that thing a couple times anyway. It's nice, man. It's of course we have to recognize it as one of the monster albums of all time of rock music and breakthrough of the pop music at the time, whatever. Spent how long on the charts? 25 years or
Yeah. This,
something? Get your Rainbow Heartbeat.
73. They didn't publish an album in '72 because they were.
When you're working on,
When you're working on a seminal album such as this, it needs time. Time.
Which, like I say, there's nice numbers in it. Obviously, your legendary radio hits. I like "Breathe." I like the "Us and Them" song.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Can we both agree on "The Howling Lady"? Great Gig in the Sky. What can we?
Oh, you mean the backup singer or whatever it is? The lady that does the.
Yeah. Is she supposed to come
vocals
in before or after the Wicked Witch of the West?
Oh, yes. You gotta like sync it up right. You have to like pause and like do the thing where you circle the album back around to get the instructions for where to start.
Alright.
I do not need that saxophone solo.
Well, I will straight up take a saxophone solo at any time. It's just me though.
Possibly wishing there were more Pink Floyd songs with saxophones in them. Is this the beginning of the Waters?
Actually, it is, because it says it's credited all lyrics by Roger Waters.
He dominates in
whether
the material. He writes most of the songs at this point.
Yeah, whether it counts as the band writing the music and him writing the lyrics, but it's also another fine Parsons engineered album.
Sid Barrett isn't there anymore. They have to have somebody that leads the group.
Yeah, that is true.
And writes all the songs.
That is true. Because, they were floundering up until Raj, took it over. But anyway, that brings us on to 75 because they were on tour with this the entire 74.
You have to tour
with.
You have to sell the millions and millions of albums.
Yes.
Doesn't that thing rank? Did it sell is that like second only to Thriller or something?
Yeah.
Just think of the merchandise. Think of how many posters and shirts and the black light wall hangings and.
I mean, what else can I say?
Like millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, 75.
Correct? And this I'm quite proud of. I own the edition with the corner missing that's purposely meant to look like a dog chewed it up. You got your insert, it looks the same way. Nifty, love these graphics.
One of one, baby.
Man. Which, again, this is an album I like. There's numbers on here that I appreciate. Like the Cigars, or whatever it's called.
Right.
What's Your Name, Boy? Wish You Were Here, the track. Again, it's soft and slow, but it's a nice song. Is this where we're talking about Sid Barrett a whole bunch in the lyrics?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people say, including maybe a band member or two, that this entire album is dedicated to Sid Barrett, pretty much.
Be led to believe it's called Wish You Were Here.
Yeah.
And he's talking about disillusionment in the rock and the music industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Get on the machine. What's that one song about a machine?
Welcome to the machine. Yeah.
Get on it. Whether or not that's maybe talking about the introduction of synthesizers. That's
right.
Another thing that stands out about this album.
Yeah.
Finally, they dragged their feet on it, but finally the keyboardist man, Richard Wright, is using the Moogs.
Embracing the more artificial sound of the Moog instead of just sample-based and actual physical model-based keyboards. Also, we have a split long song.
Oh, that's right. The Shine On.
Shine On is split into two and put on either end of the album with short songs in the middle.
Because what would be the purpose of having... I mean, you don't want to keep on having them be intact suites.
Right.
You want to jazz things up a little.
Definitely. So...
And again, musically, it's a lot of slow stuff.
Yeah. There's a groovy part on Shine On, the second Shine On, half, but...
We're staying baked, vegging out, and we are keeping it mellow.
That's right. But, it's not like Roger Waters and them wasn't paying attention to the late socioeconomic themes.
Yes, what happens next?
Well,
Cow group.
Raj, your boy Raj especially, but they were paying attention to all the upheaval going on in England during the mid to late
Yes, I guess it
70s.
would be. Yeah, it'd be the socio-economic turmoil of the
And we have this album here called
Anapals.
Animals.
Animal Dance.
Yeah. But
Pigs that fly.
we got one of those.
I thought it was called Monsters. Or wait, no, that's David Bowie.
Yeah.
I kept getting it wrong between Heroes and Monsters.
There's a lot to mess up there though, so I'm not.
Let's see. It was based on a George Orwell's, correct?
Yeah.
Animal Farm?
Animal Farm, and this is known mainly for me by being actually kind of a rocker. Like, you could put it on, and maybe a handful of middle-aged guys would get up during the party and start bobbing their head a bit.
At least they're still trying to force the issue on a couple of energetic spots in the album.
But it's also notable for turning up the political dial quite a bit. This is when Raj really started incorporating society, economics into the lyrics. And some awesome guitar licks by David Gilmour. And again, a little bit more artificial keyboard sounding from Richard Wright. Vocoders make an appearance in Sheep, which again is probably the best song on here. So another thing about this is basically this album did a complete 180 from this. This was bookended by long songs. This was bookended by short songs. See? So there you go.
Switching it up again.
Switching it up. The long songs are in the middle this time.
By golly. Whew!
That was quite an accomplishment. So,
Barbiturates or something. Let's see. In terms of Syd Barrett, without lyrical content related to Syd Barrett, correct?
Yeah.
It's all just the politics and the Animal Farm?
Yeah, pretty much.
So we have to wait an entire
couple of
next
years.
album.
Couple of years. This was 77, if I didn't mention before. And 79, we get the Pink Floyd movie. I mean, this screams movie, doesn't it? This right here, it's a movie. It's not a laserdisc, it's a movie. But, I mean, there you go. This is
Motioning.
It has a defined plot. It has awesome drawn and actual characters.
There's no words.
No, like
You're used to the front cover of the movie that says Pink Floyd The Wall.
Yeah, there's a.
Or does it show it on the inside?
There's no title on the inside either. It's just a bunch of
well, good for them.
engineered bys, written bys, produced bys.
That's how you find out you're supposed to sync it up with the tape.
Yeah, but
they reserve that for the end of the album.
Yeah, on the inside here you get your lyrics, and
you start over after part 2.
Yeah. So, again, this album deals with mania, a little bit of politics thrown in there.
Well, we're going back to the Syd Barrett related themes and content.
Yeah, he acted.
Correct?
Yeah, he acted as a bit of an influence.
It's about a pop star that becomes whatever, disillusioned or unstable or emotionally whatever.
And there's a fun fact about this one: you won't see Richard Wright anywhere in this album.
Oh yes, again, we have to reinstate the pattern of members of the group being kicked out due to problems. What was that all about?
He had a heroin problem, and he was also going through a nasty divorce. But
oh wait, yes, isn't there a radio hit off of that called Heroin?
Oh, yeah. What would it be? Comfortably Numb, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was going through a heroin problem, and whenever he was in the studio, he he would just basically sit there at the side.
Yes, we had another album where the guy
So-
would not do anything, but kind of would still be there.
So basically, the rest of the band gave him an ultimatum. He was like, can we just work on this or you can just go? And he decided to go. So, keyboard credits are.
A different man.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh, who was it?
Guy.
It was not Rick Wright, basically, what it
Man.
comes down to. So,
Which, again, it is a nice album. I don't know. We're at least we're not having these sidelong,
yeah.
hugely long suites with the pretty doggone boring instrumental sequences.
Yeah, we get a little more pop
We're in
flavor.
pop song format or whatever for soundtrack songs of a film.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty exciting. It's that thing you get stoned to. What's it called? Brick in the wall,
Yeah.
where you don't need education,
Right.
and we do not need the school.
And
We
also,
need the meat.
I mean, it came out during the right time because angsty teens started becoming a thing right around this time. The counterculture. So, they of course needed a bunch of old British guys to listen to. So,
They had one of those pudding shirts,
yeah.
or an uncle did.
Something,
Give me the pudding
yeah.
or something.
Puddings and meats and whatever. And of course, you got the track Mother, which can function as some type of lullaby or something.
Yeah, Pink Floyd.
And going on to the final cut, which came out in 1983.
Yes, we have to do this.
We had 4 years of touring with the movie and The Wall, and I guess they had a contractual obligation for one more song or whatever.
Years of getting big, man.
So we have this album,
That is
which is written,
unused material from
yeah, written with,
Pink Floyd movie.
yeah, unused material, and I think David Gilmour said it best, the guitarist. It was all, now who's gonna buy a bunch of rejected material from the movie? And,
But yeah, Final Cut is the name of it.
yeah, the final cut.
Didn't it have some kind of subtitle in there? Well, you open it up.
Yeah,
It
a
said-
requiem.
oh, yeah, there we go. Requiem for the Post-War Dream. That's what the front is. I didn't notice that. It's military decorations.
Yeah, it's all.
That's because of his dad?
Yeah, this one's dedicated to his dad, which is, I mean, that's cool and all. It's just,
Again, the
it's-
political themes.
Yeah,
He
political
talks about
themes.
Margaret Thatcher or something.
yeah, there's a,
He kind of tweaked the lyrics to update them to what was going on at 1983 time or something.
yeah, there's a. One of my favorites, probably the only listenable track on here, is "Not Now, John," where he's busy comparing the British economy to the Japanese economy.
In reference to, because I mean, it was pretty interesting historically. You got
Yeah,
the new money. What was that? 71.
yeah,
Moving on through all the union problems and everything else, energy crisis,
right.
and he ties it all in with going back to the World War, post-war,
Yeah,
World War II.
and
To have the album not sell.
yeah. And if Not Now, John gets you hype, then Two Suns in the Sunset will
Oh, good.
put you back to sleep. So, there you go.
Yes, album that I not heard and don't plan on. And thus ends Roger Waters' time, correct?
Yes, yeah. He was going on to do. They all kind of just wanted to do solo stuff, and
He wanted to break the group up, something like that. There was a
Yeah.
court battle involving using the name or something.
Yeah, basically, Roger Waters tried to argue that Pink Floyd couldn't continue touring or making music as Pink Floyd because he was the pinnacle member.
Me rock group that I wasn't the original leader of.
Yeah.
And didn't come up with the bloody name for.
Well, fortunately, the high courts kind of just told them to go screw off, and they were able to continue selling music and performing as Pink Floyd, with the snags of being unable to perform songs from the final cut,
Legal stipulation or whatever.
the movie, and Animals
Monsters.
live. But But
yes, moving on without our non-Sid Barrett leader man.
they soldier on, slumbering, kind of half defeated.
Yeah, this phase, the third phase, doesn't really count, at least for my interest purposes. Aside from just, yes, technically they did soldier on for years in the 80s, making a couple more albums.
We can count it. We can label it as the David Gilmour era. David Gilmour led, because in '89 they came out with Momentary Lapse of Reason, and it basically sounds like a mid-'80s prog rock type sound, although with Pink Floyd, a Pink Floyd or two.
Everybody have mullets?
So
Are they wearing like neon tank tops?
Well-
or I mean neon suit jackets with shoulder pads. Using orchestral stabs like the owner of a Lonely Heart.
so yeah,
We have like a neon splash on the screen of the graphics. And got like a tilted logo with a box and the blue squares.
got some giant drums.
Oh yes, big drums.
Big drums, loud guitars, some keyboard work by your boy Rich, who was allowed back in, by the way.
I will now doze off again.
So we there was actually a tour for the album. You know, One Slit did okay. That's a pretty good song. They did a tour, and they kind of relaxed for a bit. You know, maybe 2 or 3 years. 94 comes around.
That was, there's another 5-year gap,
Yeah. 94 comes around with the Division Bell. It's notable for having a cool album cover. The songs are, if you ask me, kind of forgettable. And they, of course, took another break after doing the Division Bell. For a long time. Like, they had some reunion tours. There was
With Roger Waters?
There was...
Or wait, no, he did a The Wall thing on his own, didn't he?
Yeah, he did The Wall thing on his own. I think they came together for Live Aid, including Roger Waters, one time during this stint, but up until 2016, so that's 22 years.
What was the last thing? 2014 or so?
With
2016?
yeah,
Recently.
it was they came out
was leftover footages from this last Division Bell.
They came out with An Endless River.
Oh boy!
Well, it came out after Richard Wright died, so he gets posthumous.
Oh, did he pass away?
Yeah, they put him in there from recording sessions of the Division Bell, and they came up with a couple of new songs, but
By golly, let's do it again
so
and perpetuate a couple more of these cycles and make another album of unused material from our previous one.
well, I mean, yeah, so
We will prove it
it did better
to
than
the
this.
fans.
It did better than that, but
We will get baked. We will veg out.
and here we are.
Continue to be Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
It's like I say, all of their stuff after Sid Barrett is stuff that I pretty much don't care about. The production is high quality. The arrangements are sophisticated. There's plenty of nice creativity and depth going on, but gosh, such a snooze fest, man. Jeez.
not exactly party jams, but I'm good for maybe putting this on the sound system when I'm alone in my apartment or whatever.
And I am, of course, going to force the issue on. I don't know about in England, but in America, the millions and millions of Pink Floyd fans who don't know or care who he is.
Yeah,
And he was the leader of the group.
it's a valid issue.
One of the three major lost gods of psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
Those men, Rocky and Skip Spence.
Yeah,
It's the Sid Barrett.
Yeah.
Sid Barrett, wherever you are, I love you, brother.